Hey guys, good morning. We are in downtown Austin, on location, South by Southwest. This is the major convention center where a lot of the festivities will take place. And I'm going to walk over there with you just so you could kind of see it. The streets are not going to be this quiet. South by Southwest is this huge conference that basically covers all sorts of technology, music, film, innovation in a lot of these fields. And we're lucky enough that SmartHER News has been invited to present at South by Southwest, which is a really big honor because we're a new website, we're a new digital platform, and um, the more we can get the word out for SmartHER News, the better. So this is a really big deal. It'll be happening. My presentation will be happening on Wednesday, and I'm down here this morning because I'm going to go and watch an event that a friend is putting on. She's hosting a cybersecurity panel, and I wanted to be here to support her. So I came into downtown Austin at about 6 o'clock in the morning because traffic is so bad, and doing some work in the office to get the website up for you guys. I don't know if the convention doors are going to be open, but we're going to go check it out so you can just see how big this place is. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the news today. There's a couple different things that are going on, and one of the big stories I think is something that's not going to get a whole lot of play in the American press, but we'll see. You never know. It's the first official visit between the Iranian president into Iraq with the Iraq president. And this is a really big deal because we're constantly watching what Iran is doing in the region, specifically in the Mideast. Iran's influence is extremely important to watch because Iran is a state sponsor of terror. How they're designated by the U.S. government. That means they finance or support terrorism around the world. There's only a few other countries that are on that list, by the way. That includes Sudan, North Korea, Syria, and Iran. So we want to watch Iranian relationships to see, well, where are they trying to expand their influence? Iraq is a place that they're trying to make sure that they have a foothold, in part because that's where America is. We still have a presence in Iraq. And interesting to also note is that back in the fall of last year, the United States actually shut down our consulate in Basra, which is in the southwest part of Iraq near Iran, because of conflicts with Iran. We directly blamed Iran for shooting rockets at our consulate, and the U.S. State Department said it's not safe for our employees anymore to be there, so that they were evacuated. So the reason why I think this is really important is to see, well, Iran is in some turmoil because of the economy there, because of U.S. sanctions. So the Iranian president wants to look like he's building these relationships with Iraq. Iraq is under a certain amount of turmoil as well, kind of emerging from this post-ISIS stage, but a real tenuous stage. And we still have U.S. troops on the ground. So I think this is an important meeting to watch, and really is important for us to see, well, what does the Middle East look like after the conflict in Syria, after the conflicts in Iraq? Both of these conflicts are not over and done, but what is this world going to look like afterwards? What is this region going to look like? Okay. It doesn't look like this is too locked. Let's go ahead and go inside. I'll show you how big this place is, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what's going on in the U.S. government. Okay, here we go. Let me show you. Okay, this place is huge. You can kind of see it's just like one of those huge, big convention centers. They have all the different maps and things because you need one. Guys, around here too, you're going to see how big and how tall the escalators are. Basically, there's a ton of rooms in this convention center. There's multiple hotels, and in all of these different rooms, there's different people that are presenting different ideas. So this weekend, I was able to see Howard Schultz present. He was doing an interview. I was able to see Amy Klobuchar, a senator, also running for president. Howard Schultz isn't sure. He's the former Starbucks CEO. And so you have, politicians, you have inventors, you have CEOs, you have famous people that are introducing their films. But here, look at this. So check this out. Little coffee shop. But you guys, this place is just massive. And it's one of the few places that has events, but the events are happening all over. So here's what's happening in the U.S. government. Today, President Trump is going to be submitting his budget proposal. And there's a lot of talk about this because it looks like he's going to ask for more. I thought that was going to happen. Let's see. Sometimes there's so much going on here. I just don't have a really great connection, which is kind of ironic because it is a tech conference. Anyhow, so what I was saying is President Trump is introducing a budget proposal today. Looks like he's going to be asking for more money for a border wall. Democrats have already said they're not going to support that. So guess what? It looks like we might be in a replay of what we saw in the past several months with the showdown over budget spending, and where President Trump wants the money to go and where other lawmakers want the money to go. In the meantime, as the Senate returns, the Senate is likely to vote on President Trump's emergency declaration and whether they support or want to officially voice their disagreement with his use of emergency money for the border wall. If the Senate does that, if the Senate decides to vote on a resolution against the president's emergency declaration for a border wall, that means there's a joint resolution by Congress that can pass, that can officially say to the president, we don't want this money to go where you want it to go. The president can say, that's great, I veto that. And unless Congress has 2/3 of a majority to overturn the president's veto, then this doesn't really matter. And it looks like right now that they don't have the majority. So while the Senate can vote for it and while the House of Representatives has voted for it, they still don't have enough lawmakers to overturn a presidential veto. I hope that makes sense. So it's sort of an exercise, it's like a public statement, but it looks like that emergency money would still go towards the border unless the president changed his mind, which he hasn't suggested. There we go. Sorry. I don't know if it's pausing for you, but it's pausing for me. And I don't want you guys to miss anything. Okay, final thing today. I walked outside this morning and I was like, oh, it's still dark at 7 o'clock in the morning. I hope you saw our card on daylight savings time because admittedly, I've been so busy that I actually forgot to change the clock. So if you forgot, I also forgot. And yeah, lawmakers last week, senators from Florida and a congressman from Florida submitted a bill, the Sunshine Protection Act, I believe is the full title, easy enough for me to say. And what they want to do is make daylight savings full year long for all the states that have opted into daylight savings. So that means we would not change our clocks. Congress has to approve this if it was to happen. So I don't know. I'd be really curious what you guys think because I know a lot of people hate changing the clocks, but then we're sort of used to it. So do you guys think that Congress should just say, let's just keep the clocks the same? And should it be daylight savings time? So what that would mean is that it would be darker in the morning, but we'd have more light in the evening. And all of this was done with the purpose of saving energy during wartime, and then it sort of continued. So for 8 months of the year, this is our clock, but the other months it's not. I don't know. I can kind of go for it. But it's dark in the morning. It is dark. I forgot how dark it is. Okay. Final thing, just something fun in case, you're in the market for a new car. A new car was sold at a record amount for nearly $19 million. It's not the most expensive car ever sold, but it's the most expensive new car, and it's a Bugatti. So, $19 million. Just thought I should let you guys know. All right, a few of you are saying you're bringing your kids to school in the dark. Yeah, exactly. I think that sounds a little crazy. And some of you are saying, listen, leave it up to the states. The thing is, can you imagine if every state decided a different time zone? I mean, it's already confusing enough. Oh, wait, I should say time zone because we're all going to be in a different time zone, different clocks. Different clocks? I don't know. Clearly, our time zones would all still be different. Don't get me wrong. But whether it was daylight savings time or not. I mean, can you imagine if we're in the same time zone, but some of us have opted for daylight savings time and some haven't? It would be really confusing. Anyways, Not that it's not confusing enough already. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed our little tour. Hey, listen, one of the things I was thinking about on the way here, I'm admittedly a little bit nervous about this speech for South by Southwest, because although I love talking about SmartHER News and I love talking about you guys, I like less talking about myself. And I find it really difficult, which is really important for a business person to be able to do. So I was thinking that one of the things I'd like to include in the talk is I'd like to include your thoughts about SmartHER News. So if I could share like 3 comments about why you think SmartHER News is important or critical during this time, what you like about it, that would be great. So DM me or email me info@smarthernews.com, and I'd love to include your thoughts so people can understand, like, what is SmartHER News really about? Like, why does it matter? I'm explaining our story, but I could use a little help. So I'd love your help. All right, guys, the speech is on Wednesday, so I have a couple days to prepare. But you know, with 2 toddlers in the house, that means I have like 4 hours to prepare between now and Wednesday. So yeah, I'm going to come to you with questions. In the meantime, have a great Monday, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.